When it comes to the music industry, independent hip-hop labels have played a major role in shaping the culture. But what about the big players? Warner, Sony, and Universal, these major record labels have been just as important in hip-hop's evolution, offering artists the opportunity to scale their careers globally. Today, we're breaking down the impact of both independent hip-hop labels like Def Jam, Death Row, and Cash Money, alongside the major record labels that have partnered with or signed some of the biggest names in hip-hop. We'll explore what these labels mean for an artist's career and why understanding their role is key for independent artists today. Def Jam, the blueprint of hip-hop labels. Def Jam, co-founded by Rick Rubin and Russell Simmons, was pivotal in establishing hip-hop's presence in the mainstream. But they didn't do it alone. By partnering with major label Columbia Records in the 1980s, Def Jam was able to use the resources and distribution power of a global giant while keeping their finger on the pulse of hip-hop culture. This model of combining the energy of an indie label with the muscle of a major label partnership became a blueprint for others to follow. Warner Music Group, a major player in hip-hop. Warner Music Group has been a powerhouse in the global music industry, and its influence in hip-hop is undeniable. Through labels like Atlantic Records, Warner has signed iconic artists like T.I., Missy Elliott, and Cardi B. While independent labels might offer more creative freedom, major labels like Warner provide the infrastructure, marketing, and global distribution that can take an artist from local buzz to international stardom. Warner's vast network of resources, including connections to film, TV, and international markets, has helped many hip-hop artists expand beyond just music. This makes it a major player in shaping careers across multiple platforms, from music to movies to branding. Death Row Records. The gangsta rap empire Death Row Records didn't just represent West Coast hip-hop, it took it to another level. When Dr. Dre dropped The Chronic, the label revolutionized gangsta rap. But the real game changer for Death Row was when they signed a distribution deal with Interscope, a part of Universal Music Group, one of the big three major labels. This allowed Death Row to bring its raw, street sound to a global audience. This is where major labels come into play. They have the money and reach to get music out to millions, which can amplify the impact of an already thriving independent scene. Sony Music. The global reach Sony Music, through its subsidiary labels like Columbia and RCA, has had a massive influence on hip-hop. Legendary acts like Nas, A Tribe Called Quest, and more recently, Travis Scott, have benefited from Sony's global infrastructure. While indie labels may focus on artist development and creative freedom, Sony's clout in international markets provides unparalleled distribution power. What's more, major labels like Sony offer access to massive marketing budgets and promotional campaigns. This allows artists to land major brand deals, festival bookings, and features in movies, TV shows, and even video games. It's that kind of reach that makes working with a major label tempting for many artists. Bad Boy Entertainment. The East Coast's comeback Bad Boy, founded by Diddy, also partnered with a major label, Arista Records, under Sony Music. This partnership is what helped Biggie Smalls and other Bad Boy artists reach the level of fame they did. Independent labels may be where the hustle starts, but major labels often take artists to new heights by leveraging their massive resources for promotion, distribution, and connections. This also highlights the balance between indie labels and major players. Bad Boy's early success came from Diddy's marketing genius, but it was the power of Sony's distribution and resources that made Bad Boy an industry giant. Universal Music Group. The biggest of the big three, Universal Music Group (UMG), is the biggest of the major labels and owns a range of sub-labels like Interscope, Republic, and Def Jam. UMG's reach is so wide that it's impossible to talk about global music without mentioning it. Artists like Kanye West, Drake, and Kendrick Lamar have all had their careers shaped, in part, by Universal's massive marketing and distribution machine. Universal's strategy of signing or partnering with independent labels like Death Row has allowed them to stay relevant in hip-hop while still maintaining corporate control over the industry's biggest artists. This combination of indie grit and major backing has proven to be a winning formula for many artists. Cash Money Records. The Southern powerhouse Cash Money's groundbreaking $30 million distribution deal with Universal set a new standard for independent labels. By retaining ownership of their masters while using Universal's distribution network, Cash Money didn't just make millions, they created generational wealth. Lil Wayne, Drake, and Nicki Minaj are now household names because of this business model. This is a perfect example of how savvy business moves and strategic partnerships with major labels can take an independent label to the next level. Dawg Entertainment, TDE. The new standard for artistic freedom. Dawg Entertainment has made a name for itself as one of the most respected independent labels. However, TDE didn't do it entirely alone. Through a partnership with Interscope under Universal, TDE was able to take Kendrick Lamar from an underground favorite to an international superstar. Despite the major label partnership, TDE has maintained its indie spirit, giving artists like Kendrick, Schoolboy Q, and Zigga creative freedom while using Interscope's global reach. TDE's model shows that it's possible to maintain creative control while leveraging the power of a major label. The importance of understanding major label influence. While indie labels like Def Jam, Death Row, Cash Money, and TDE have driven the culture forward, it's the major labels Warner, Sony, and Universal that have provided the infrastructure for these artists to reach a global audience. These major players have the resources, connections, and expertise to push hip-hop beyond national borders. For independent artists today, understanding the role of both indie and major labels is crucial. Major labels can offer incredible opportunities, but they also come with trade-offs, like potentially losing ownership of your masters or having less creative control. The key is to strike a balance, understanding when to partner with a major and when to stay independent, depending on your goals. Conclusion. In the end, whether you're looking at the success of indie labels like Def Jam, Cash Money, or TDE, or the global reach of Warner, Sony, and Universal, hip-hop's rise wouldn't have been possible without both sides of the industry. Artists today have more options than ever, and the decision to stay independent or sign with a major should be based on your long-term vision. Grizz Gang. Forever, not sometimes. Flex up.